Mike Vrabel was not hired this hiring cycle, which I think a lot of people were surprised about. And, he's one of the big names like Belichick, who's sitting out there and just kind of hanging out.
Big old.
And people, are looking around going, well, man, why didn't Vrabel get a job? Well, Dianna Russini of The Athletic, she was talking on The Athletic football show, and she has a theory as to why Mike Vrabel did not get hired this cycle.
Do you know I had a GM at the Senior Bowl who mentioned to me Vrabel's physical build, that he's a very large human being and can be very intimidating to people in an organization that are going to be part of these decisions. And that is a factor, which I laughed. I said, stop, that's not something that's real. Who cares what someone physically looks like? And he said, I'm just telling you, I've been in rooms and somebody's physical presence can make a difference.
So that, according to Dianna Russini of The Athletic and The Athletic football show, talking about why Mike Vrabel was not hired as the head coach.
What's going on, what? What are you talking about? I mean, you should never be. You shouldn't be intimidated by a man.
Hey, by the way, what is Dan Campbell, like a horse jockey? Dan Campbell's a monster.
I don't know if there's any validity to it. But
what?
If that's actually real.
What?
What are we doing?
I mean, it's like then you basically can't talk to any player in the NFL because they're so much bigger and intimidating to you. I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure what to make
real confident saying that shouldn't matter. I'll say that. I mean, man, like that is a glowing endorsement. You know what I mean? Like, well, how does that matter?
His physical build. Yeah.
Like what? How does that matter?
That matters,
I mean, or should it matter?
That matters, apparently.
I mean, some people would say that's
like we're in high school, like we're.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I know where you're.
I mean, I don't, but yeah,
I don't know. I mean,
I'm trying to stay above ground.
I'm just saying. Malfunction.
Abort. Malfunction. Confirmed. Complete. We gotta move. Hey, I think it's preposterous would be the word I would use. Like he's too big of a person. Like, are you being serious?
Are we in high school? Like people are intimidated to talk to the guy because he's big. He looks like he'd be a bully. Like, what are we doing?
So now we know why Mike McDaniel got his job and McVay got his. Although McVay, he wants to be big. He clearly wants to be yoked up, but he's still small. I mean, there's some small guys out there. There are some really small coaches out there, though.
Mike McDaniel's a hipster.
Yeah, he's small and he's a hipster, which means that you feel confident. Like, I can tell Mike what to do because I'm not intimidated by his size.
Yeah.
Like, come on, what? Like, I can go talk to him because I'm not intimidated by his size. Like,
whoever she talked with, why don't you just come out and say, yeah, we didn't hire him because we were cheap. Just say that. We didn't hire him because we didn't want to pay whatever he was asking.
I tend to think, too, there's some hesitance, and I know we've talked about this like last week, about not knowing with the new ownership group how they're going to handle adversity, if they're going to move on from a coach after a year or two, whatever it is. But some of the new money owners or ownership groups that are coming into the league, they have so much cash that if you were a coach who's been somewhere, and in his case, obviously, he had success, but he doesn't want to go somewhere and then not be able to climb even higher or flop, right? If that's the case, man, like, do you want to be a part of a new ownership group that like could move on from you after a year or two?
And also, who did he interview with?
He interviewed with
Washington, Atlanta, the Chargers, those three for sure. Okay. Carolina, right?
So you gotta take Washington out of it. It can't be Washington, right? It can't be Washington.
I mean, why not?
Because they got Magic. If Mike Vrabel's too big, then what do you feel about Magic?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully Magic will be telling them, like, wait, what?
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, he's too big. Like, look at me. Like, I'm bigger than him.
If he interviewed,
it might be Tepper.
But Dan Morgan was hired there.
Dan Morgan's there.
He's a big dude.
Yeah. He's not tall, but I mean, he's an intimidating looking dude. It wouldn't be Carolina, so that's 2 that's down. Who else? Atlanta. I mean, Atlanta was acting soft about bringing Belichick in. It's Atlanta.
Oh.
There you go. It's the Falcons.
It's more of a power thing.
There you go. It's Atlanta. Who's ever in the front office in Atlanta is in fear of what they got going on if they bring in somebody from New England. They have a New England bias. That's what it is. There you go. We got it. We got you. It's Atlanta.
Because of his physical stature, we couldn't hire him.
I mean, Raheem isn't a big physical-looking dude.
Oh, man.
And a lot of people would say he's one of those type of coaches that he doesn't come in with like a big brand. You know, been a head coach before. You know, got it by being a successful interim head coach. And this isn't a knock on Raheem, but you're not coming in with the type of strength of hand that, you know, a Belichick or a Vrabel would come in with. Right? I mean, is that fair?
Yes. It's just the whole.
And he's not as tall and is not as physically imposing as Mike Vrabel.
You know, also, I wonder this as well, too. How many of these people in the front office will, and I'd be curious to ask Albert Breer this, will throw stuff out there just to see whether or not anybody would actually report on it? And I'm not saying that's the case here, but it does feel a little bit absurd.
I'll tell you what's absurd.
Is it them throwing it out, or is it people who run with what's said because they think that will get clicks or that'll get attention?
Well, the fact that you said it to, let's just be clear here, you said it to a woman reporter. You said that to a woman reporter. Like, what type of a person? I'm assuming it's probably a man or men that said this. What type of a man are you? Like, be clear. You're telling a woman reporter that he's too physically imposing for us to want to hire him. Like translation, you soft lotion hand using boy.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? Like.